Hello everyone, welcome to another video where I'm going to showcase someone's team and then try it out myself. We're not gonna just showcase anyone's team, we're gonna showcase the team of the world champion. Yes, the world champion, the first world champion, DancingRob. My good friend DancingRob from Germany. And below here is his team of Mantine, Umbreon and Medicham. Three Pokemons. Actually, I know he likes two of these Pokemons. Mantine is somewhat a surprise, probably because his team kind of didn't adapt to the new meta. His meta changed, his team changed with the meta, right? This team is quite weak to Charm, but Charm is not as common anymore. Mantine is a flyer that also beats other flyers. The only flaw of this line really is Registeel. Registeel just tears through Mantine and Umbreon. Other than that, I think it's a really solid team. I like Mantine just because it's even spammier right now. We're going to take a look at the set of DancingRob first, and then we will take a look at the set of myself with this team. Here we go. DancingRob was, I believe, around veteran rank with this team. And here we go. We got Mantine, his game's in German, by the way, into Nidoqueen. So this is after the Poison Fang nerf, which means that Poison Fang is 6 poison jabs here. And as you can see, DancingRob is building up some more energy. Not throwing Bubble Beam immediately. He will try to bait here. And Ice Beam definitely would almost KO the Nidoqueen. I don't think completely just yet, but the Nidoqueen calls his move. Bubble Beam already does a nice chunk of damage here, to be honest. And it's CMP on the next move. This won't take out DancingRob's Mantine just yet. It's just a Fang. And he barely survives. Mantine is like comparably bulky to a Medicham in Great League. It has good bulk, and he has even more bulk in the back, to be honest. And a Zoomer or any Charmer at this point would be very tough, but they are quite rare. In the back is an Altaria, and that's horrible for DancingRob because both his back line Pokemon are not great against this. However, he does have Ice Punch on Medicham, so it does do quite fine here, and Umbreon with Shields up is also still pretty good against that Altaria here. So he's going to build up more energy and then throw a couple Ice Punches. And then it really comes down to what's in the back. Nidoqueen and Altaria, that's quite weak to Galarian Stunfisk. So I would expect something like a fighter in the back, something that counters Galarian Stunfisk. The opponent is double shielding here, so maybe it is something like a Surfetched maybe. Let's see, another Hemosfager, which means Sky Attack, comes in, and it is a Swampert. Not exactly what I expected. It is a Galarian Stunfisk answer, and he catches the Hydro here on Umbreon. That gains him some momentum with that Medicham, because now he's one counter of that Psychic. He also can build up more energy later, perhaps, to Ice Punch the Altaria as well, and he can still take, like, 2 Hydros. I think an Earthquake might take out the Umbreon at this point, though, but if the Swampert throws a Hydra here, then it needs to build up more energy later. The next foul play comes in, and he is already at the next foul play because Umbreon is so fast. I believe that Medicham wins here against Altaria as well, so at this point, if he gets one foul play in, DancingRob wins this game, because then the Altaria is in Ice Punch range. Ice Punch, double super effective, does about 50% to an Altaria, which is a good chunk. It looks like there he goes. Swapping right away, waiting half a second to see if the opponent blind throws or not, because sometimes that could be your strat, predicting that someone blind throws the move, and this time he didn't, so he sniped it. Very good play by our world champion, of course. He's good. All right, this is a good lead for Mantine, actually, even though the Ice Beam is quite far away and Shadow Ball still chunks a lot, but you don't have your Medicham on this, so that's great. On the other hand, there's probably Umbreon answers in the back. Speaking of Umbreon, there is one, and the opponent safe swaps it, probably trying to bait out something that probably something weak to fighting in the back as well. And Medicham actually loses the 0 shields here, because Umbreon has a slight energy advantage. Let's see. The Ice Punches don't add up here. If you have like Dynamic Punch or Power Punch, it becomes much better for your Medicham. You can take one more foul play here, but the next one will definitely KO. Looks like DancingRob is trying to get that extra in. He does shield this just to get at that alignment, and I don't hate this, simply because you come out with energy out for that Trevenant, and the Trevenant likely has to shield these Ice Punch as well. So this is a pretty good play by DancingRob. No surprise, he's a world champion. Another Ice Punch coming in. Let's see if Travis shields this. He does shield that, and now goes for the Psychic. Again, a very high level play, because Psychic, not super effective, still does slightly more than that move, and that actually takes it out. And in the back is a Vigoroth, and the opponent gives up before even seeing the last Pokemon there. Very well played by DancingRob. Obviously, that Mantine would debuff that Vigoroth completely down, so there was not a lot of play left for that. For the opponent. This is a bad lead for DancingRob. Walrein is very good against Mantine, especially a full one, and he decides to save swap into Umbreon immediately, and then is met by a Medicham. Now, I do recognize this team. This may be a creation of yours truly, me. So, like I said, Medicham actually loses the Zero Shields here barely, but we'll see how the opponent plays out, because they could do like the same that DancingRob just did. Just shield once, counter down, come out with a lot of energy. Except that Mantine takes Psychics and Ice Punches for breakfast. Throwing on alignment there, just wants to get that move off before the Medicham throws an Ice Punch, because a counter and an Ice Punch would KO. He really wants that shield advantage, and looks like the opponent indeed does shield to keep switch here. So now the opponent has a lot of energy, but DancingRob has a shield advantage, and Medicham with a shield advantage can beat about anything that's not a ghost. Another move coming in. Mantine can take this easily. It is another Psychokinese, and in comes Medicham for that snipe here. That's only a little bit more energy, and it is my team! It is my team! Is DancingRob going to be my team? I do not appreciate that, Mr. Rob. Anyway, let's see how the opponent is going to do this. He is going straight Night Slash here, realizing DancingRob has 2 shields, so he might as well just throw anything at this point. No need to bait to that Earthquake. There's also still a full Walrein in the back, so I think the opponent, or my team, I'm actually kind of rooting for my opponent because we're not running my team, is actually looking quite good here. Getting that second shield, but then going straight into the Walrein. I'm not sure if that is the play per se, because now you eat a Psychic here, but you still have that pretty healthy Gliscor. So let's see. It does get to that Icicle Spear. This actually might take out the Medicham barely. If it doesn't, then DancingRob will win, because he would come out with an Ice Punch. And does he get the farm down here? He does not get the farm down. That's very close. A very good Walrein there. Because if he got the farm down, he could Ice Beam that Gliscor. And my team wins. I'm sorry, DancingRob, but that's just how it is sometimes. That's just how it is sometimes, yeah. Yeah, sometimes my team wins. Anyway, Flyer versus Flyer. So this is very favorable for Mantine, because you have that Ice Beam. And Ice Beam doesn't one-shot, but probably does a sweet 80% here. Let's see, first Night Slash is coming in from Gliscor. And this is where you really see Gliscor's weakness, because in neutral situations, it just sucks. The opponent tries to catch a move on the Shadow Drapion, and DancingRob doesn't really have a hard answer here. Obviously, Medicham does well, but it's very likely there's something weak to Medicham in the back as well. So let's see what he wants to bring in here. Brings in the Medicham regardless, actually catches a move. It would have been nice to have that on Umbreon, I think, but it's still fine. Also, he might just want to get rid of that Medicham simply because it's bad against Gliscor. And if you come in with energy, you also can hit the Gliscor with Ice Punch, which is still double super effective. On top of that, he also has some energy for the Gliscor. I believe he might be at an Ice Beam. So the Gliscor is actually not in a great place at this point. Gliscor is a pretty hot item at this point, but I think it can be, if you have it in the wrong spot, it's just such a difficult Pokemon to utilize. In comes the first Ice Punch. It gets shielded. DancingRob swaps immediately, pressuring that second shield here. Let's see if the opponent gives up 2 shields right away here. And if they have like an Ampharos in the back, it will be very difficult. But it is a Registeel. That's actually a core breaker, especially since Medicham is basically dead. So he's going for all those ball beams at this point. And I think if you get enough ball beams in, especially because he has a shield advantage, DancingRob can actually win this, because the Focus Blast at some point will likely do nothing anymore on that Umbreon. And it looks like that DancingRob will get to another Ball Beam before the next Zap Cannon. Angriff sinkt. And here comes another Bubble Beam. Excuse me, I mean Bloopstrahl. I can love different languages. The DancingRob tries to catch here unsuccessfully. Gets a couple counters in though. I guess you have that going for you. And now actually go to shield another Zap Cannon here. He wants this completely debuffed. Another Blitz Cannon gets shield here. and now he goes for another bubble beam. This matchup kind of takes a while. This video might get a little bit long. Blame DancingRob. Anyway, at this point, opponent going to throw another Zap Cannon here. If it's a Focus Blast, might actually not KO because it's like 4 times debuff. It is Focus Blast, it doesn't debuff. It's actually worse because, yeah, now he got a little bit more energy, but it's still fine. I want to see how much a Focus Blast does here. I don't think, usually it gets you like, it does like 60%. I think it's going to do like 20. There's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. It goes for the last resort. DancingRob is just asking to be cancelled right now. But yeah, I'm guessing he's kind of frustrated that this is taking so much time. A game that's by far already over. Even a Skarmory would have taken out this this Registeel at this point. So yeah, well played by DancingRob. The Core Breaker only came in at the end. If it's ever a Registeel lead, I would love to see him play that because that's so difficult to overcome. But that's only one Pokemon out of so many. Especially in Open Great League, it's so difficult to overcome anything, including this lead. This is horrible. This is the worst lead you can get as a Mantine. Well, but for the whole team, Registeel's worse. He goes into the Umbreon safe swap, and because the opponent is staying in, I'm thinking that it might be like double Ghost. Usually that's what people have in the back when they're staying in with their lead. Getting an extra Snarl in allows him to catch up with this Lantern in energy. First Thunderbolt coming in, which tickles Umbreon, just laughing and throw another foul play here. So yeah, it's usually a bit scary when people stay in the lead here because it might indicate that they have another answer to that Mantine in the back here. It could be a Steel type. It could be, well, it's very unlikely to be another electric. The opponent halfway swaps into Walloring, which is an interesting play because now the timer has been stalled so much that the opponent can just come, or that DancingRob can just go into Medicham, and he indeed does this. So those counters are adding up. The opponent probably gets 2 Ice Cool Spears here, which will get Medicham a little bit to like 30%. But he comes out with so much energy that even if the Lantern would come in, it will be threatened pretty harshly. Interesting shield. It is an Earthquake, so actually very good shield. Very good shield by DancingRob. He is almost in Thunderbolt range though, so that Lantern could still be a problem, especially with Umbreon so low, which actually still has a Foul Play store though. First Psychic coming in on that Lantern. Actually no shielded. And in the back is this Shadow Drapion, which confuses me. I think if the opponent takes all the move on Shadow Drapion, the Lantern could have maybe cleaned up. Well, it was already at like 40%, but you really need that kind of against the Mantine. I think the opponent just had to bring the Shadow Drapion into that Umbreon say swap, but guess they had other plans, and that's going to cost them because they needed Lantern for this Mantine. And if they brought in Walrein into Umbreon, I don't think they needed to switch as much, maybe. But yeah, here we go. Another Knierscher coming in, which is a crunch. Doesn't debuff. It doesn't matter. He wins this game. It's a solid 4-1 by DancingRob. Very well played. Very lucky with those Registeels. I can tell you I've not been that lucky. I don't know if that's in these recordings with my Mantine play, but we're going to take a look at my battles now. I was about Veteran. I dropped a little bit. I was just trying out weird stuff, and that didn't pay off. Like Runerigas in the Noctowl meta didn't go well for me. But here we have Flyer on Flyer action, and we're going to see the Mantine versus Noctowl action. Let's see, the first Sky Attack comes through. This is actually not the worst for Noctowl if you correctly shield all the Ice Beams. And considering it could be Medicham in the back, they might. But they let the first one go. It's non-stab, it doesn't do that much. And you can see that this matchup gets pretty close like that. I likely will shield this move, right? I think I can take it, but why wouldn't I preserve this Mantine? I feel quite cute today. And in the back is a Sableye safe swap. And this is where I heckin' love Umbreon. I've also been playing a lot of Ninetales lately in the back again with Charm, even though Charm's been nerfed. Everyone and their mom is running Sableye, and Charm and Umbreon have been doing so well, especially if you get the lead and they safe swap it. Return comes in. If this is a non-Excel Sableye, like a Hundo, it actually wins the 0 shields because 2 returns plus Shadow Claw will take me out. But if it's an Excel Sableye, it will not win the 0 shields, and I will actually be able to snarl this down perhaps. But I'm going for the foul play. I don't think this is locked in actually because it wasn't on alignment. I should be able to just snarl this down just barely, and I come out with a lot of energy, which is kind of nice, I guess, but I don't get two moves off, so I think the play here is to throw the last resort, which would be painful if they came with a Traveler, but they come with Swampert, classic Swampert, Manta, Noctowl Core, and man, I could have thrown two Foul Blaze there, but I didn't realize, just in case it was anything else than the Swampert. Throwing the Ice Beam here immediately, that will do a nice chunk on this Pokemon, and then swapping into the Medicham, which now has a slight energy advantage on the Noctowl. The opponent instead top lefts immediately, knowing he just gets countered down. So that is a good game. My next battle, Mantine into Gliscor. What a wonderful lead. Let's see what they swap into. They swap into a Registeel. How convenient, because I only have one answer for it. But it is kind of iffy. I kind of do want Switch. I do expect them to have a better answer for my Mantine. Maybe like a Walrein. This is going to be quite difficult. I do get the attack drop, unfortunately, here. But yeah, Walrein on Mantine will be quite tough. And I don't think Umbreon is that great against the Gliscor either, especially with, well, maybe it's better with Shield Sub and I can like correctly shoot Earthquakes. I don't even remember what they had, to be honest. I'm just going to shield this up and take Switch. That's fine with me. If Gliscor comes back in, two of those Ice Punches will take it out, even if double debuffed. Actually, I'm not sure if double debuffed will take it very low for sure, that it won't be useful anymore against me. So the opponent might actually let this all go. Let's see if he does. First Ice Punch comes through. Here comes my next Ice Punch. And I think I might be able to just wing attack him down before he can even do anything. I do hard swap immediately, and it is that Walrein. And this is so fine at this point, because I locked in my Mantine right away and can just debuff into Oblivion that it can't do anymore. Should they swap into that Gliscor later, then I can just snarl down, gain more energy like that. My opponent's also very much not inclined to shield these Bubble Beams. Simply because they don't do anything, right? They don't do anything. You don't want to shield a Bubble Beam, right? Who shields a Bubble Beam in 2022? Not this guy. It's already at half HP here. Wing attacks are adding up though, and as you can see, those Icicle Spears and Power Snows are doing way and way less because of those debuffs. The opponent definitely wants to swap out at some point, probably. To clear that debuffs, but it's definitely over at this point. He shoots a Bubble Beam. I guess you have to shoot something at some point, and he swaps into Gliscor right away. I get to another Ice Punch here. It's very much over. He doesn't even get to see my third air, actually. Good no shield. It doesn't matter though. I wing attack down this Walrein. Good game trainer. That's a 2-0 win for me right now. We got the next battle, Mantine into Sableye. I hate this. Usually Sableye leads, in my experience, don't make much sense because they have like a Medicham in the back. People don't care about Charm at all anymore. And I know I need a Bubble Beam and an Ice Beam here, so I'm gonna throw the Bubble Beam just right away. With the wing attacks and the Bubble Beam, the Ice Beam then should take out if I get like an appropriate amount of farm here. But yeah, I'm definitely afraid of something that beats my Umbreon very hard in the back. Gonna throw right before the next move. This Ice Beam might... I hope it takes it out, otherwise he gets to a big move here. Barely does take it out, so I feel cute and swap immediately into my Umbreon to take this foul play. I don't want to eat it on my Mantine. Seems not useful. But in the back is that Medicham. I don't really like that. I'm really hoping it will be a Steel type in the back. I think that's my only play at this point, which would make a lot of sense because the opponent right now is super weak to Noctowl lead. So it should be a Steel type in the back, right? Might be fine here. We might be fine here. Since the opponent didn't throw immediately, I would expect Ice Punch here, because if Medicham throws immediately, it's usually the power-up punch. I'll get to another foul play here. Hopefully I can get to another one. That'd be delightful. Let's see. Can I get there? Come on. Oh no, I don't get there barely. Which is pretty bad because I kind of want this Mantine in case it is that Noctowl. Let's see. I do come in with the Mantine here. Can eat this move if I need to. Psychic comes through. That takes me very low. In the back is that Noctowl. Oh my goodness. His Noctowl answer is his own Noctowl. And that's very bad for me. They no-shield this Bubble Beam. At least it's shiny, so it's a pretty sight. There are many pretty sights nowadays, and another Ice Punch is coming in. Let's see. Does get shielded. This looks very much unwinnable. Super effective wing techs coming through. Sky attack super effective. Shadow ball super effective. Gonna no shoot first move, hoping it's sky attack. It is shadow ball. My opponent is unfortunately quite smart, and I don't think I can get another ice punch here that I desperately need. And even if I don't, I need another move on the Mantine. But that's also very unlikely. Can I get there? I think I have to let this go, because if I shield this, my opponent can swap. Oh, I actually did shield this. I think my opponent can swap into their Medicham. Yeah, that's over. Now I need an appropriate amount of farm on my Mantine, so I undercharge here, but I think it's a little bit too much. Yeah, that's very much over, because they will even get to a move before I can throw a ball beam here. Well played. Yeah, kind of unfortunate for me. I definitely didn't predict this backline. Man, my Mantine would have been so good against this backline as well. So, it is what it is. Here we go. We got the fourth battle. Mantine into Sableye yet again. I will likely play this out the same way. Right, go straight Bubble Beam. And then later, right before the second foul play, I go for the Ice Beam. But they decide actually to swap. They don't like that debuff. And they go into Licky Tongue. Yes, their Noctowl answer, of course. And Umbreon is actually really heckin' good there, because licks are resisted. Umbreon is just as boring as Lickitung. Two very bulky Pokemons. And yeah, this is very solid. I still have some energy on my Mantine as well. And then the Sableye is even going to struggle here, because it's also not great versus Umbreon. It does have a lot of energy though. But that might be fine. If it has to throw energy on Umbreon, be my guest. I don't think the next foul play will take out. Maybe with a couple snarls, I can definitely throw a foul play and farm down probably. As a Mandibuzz user, I know the matchup quite well. It's very similar. But they decide to go into Sableye just right away. Interesting. I don't mind, to be honest. Simply because as long as my Medicham avoids Sableye, it's always very fine. I might not survive this. If I do, that'd be great. I actually do survive. Oh, I think I feel cute and go for another foul player. I do feel incredibly cute. Another foul play coming through. Does this take it out? Do I still get switch here? And I do get switch. That's great. So what I'm kind of expecting here is a steel type, because first off, oh my, that's the steel type. Yes, come to me, come to Papa. That is very much over. That's exactly the steel type I wanted, and they need it for this thing, for this Noctowl. Noctowl is so meta. It's really iffy to run a Sableye lead with Medi in the back, or vice versa at this point. Actually, Medi lead could be okay, because at least you have Ice Punch to hit hard. But Sableye doesn't do well at all. Going to shoot the first move, and then go straight for that Ice Beam. Throwing immediately, hoping my opponent thinks it's a Bubble Beam. And they actually do shield that. I don't like that. I always say to my chat, always bait. And then I don't do it myself, which kind of bites me here. They tried to CP with me, but I overfarmed just a little bit more, knowing that I don't have to throw just yet, really. Then go for another Ice Beam here. If this shielded again, I'm very positive that it's going to be an Umbreon in the back, and they actually don't shield that. I think I can actually farm down at this point. Actually in Shadow Ball, which does a little bit more. The opponent also has a shield advantage, which is not that great. Let's see what comes in here. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare, because I cannot swap out, but I also need to swap out. I'm going to swap into Medicham. I might regret this, because it's very likely there's going to be answers in the back, but they let me get some counters in, which is very, very valuable later, maybe. Zap Cannon coming in. This doesn't debuff, which is huge. Now I need to throw my not debuffed Psychic here to get as much damage in as possible. And now I need something in the back that I can beat. First Psychic coming in, and then I want to throw my move immediately, but they catch on Toxicroak, and I threw because I panicked because of that Registeel, and now Registeel might get to a Focus Blast as well. The Toxicroak doesn't shield that Ice Punch. Very good play by my opponent. They CMP with me on this Mud Bomb. I might actually barely survive this. I need to survive this. This Ice Punch would be wonderful, but I die. Which is quite unfortunate. Going into my Mantine right away to throw that Bubble Beam. I'm somewhat desperate. This doesn't help as much, but they shield it. So maybe there is some play. But again, if I get into Focus Blast range, this game is very much over, because Umbreon loses CMP to Registeel. Umbreon loses CMP to like everything. And I think the only way I could win this, I don't think I'll win this because Focus Plus will take me out from here. The only way I could win this, obviously, if they don't catch my Ice Punch and I'm able to threaten the Psychic at least. Honestly, I don't know if that would make much difference since they shield a Ball Beam anyway. But the Ball Beam would have been nice here too if I had shield from that Psychic, right? So I went 3-2. DancingRob went 4-1. I think it was a pretty good team as long as you don't run into a Registeel lead, because that's just absolute death. You saw how tough Registeel was to deal with, because even Medicham loses the 0 shields without a fighting charge move. And I think Ice Punch Psychic is just mandatory in this meta to beat opposing Medi and like to fight back against flyers, because they are all over the place. Thank you for watching. Thank you, DancingRob, for featuring these battles. Highly appreciated. We can learn a lot from this battler. Hope you liked the video and have a good one. See you later. Bye bye.